Hey guys, it's Amanda. I just finished part 2 of the story that I was reading and I'm on part 3. I'm going to try, although I said in the last one that I would like chunk them together to make shorter videos, my camera is about to die. So I'm going to try to do them in smaller chunks for now so that if it does die I don't have to repeat like all 5 parts again like I'm doing today. Okay, hopefully I'm going to sit back because my back is hurting me. Part 3, The Record. The saw made my ears pop. I tried to shut it out. Who knew how long I'd be down here? I couldn't just get up and walk out. What would I say? Hey Dad, sorry I came into your room. I won't tell anyone you're a sadistic murderer. Gotta go nap. You're right. How would that play out? Would he kill me too? That was the first time that thought had popped into my head. He wouldn't kill me, not his own child. I would have immunity from his games, right? I woke up and jumped. What happened? It was like one of those experiences where you'd spend the night at a friend's house, and you wake up in the middle of the night and you freak out a little because your brain doesn't immediately process where you are. Crap, I said as I stood up and dusted myself off. I had fallen asleep. How is that even possible? I just witnessed the most traumatic thing in my life and I fell asleep through half of it? How? I sat there for a minute and listened. I didn't hear anything. I waited. 30 minutes went by, or at least what I thought. I was sitting in a dark, dank room with no lights or sense of time. I slowly opened the door. I peeked out of the door and down the black hallway. I crept out of the room and stopped by room 2 on the right. I looked in there. It was Maria's room, but she wasn't there. Was he still working on her, or had he disposed of her completely? I approached the door that had led me to the black hallway to the white one. I opened the metal door and braced myself for what was to come. I only saw Marie. Dad was nowhere to be found. I had absolutely no idea how long I've been in this place. Was Mom home? Was Dad gone? Did my parents call the police and report me missing? My thoughts broke as I heard Maria moan. Her back was towards me, but she was slumped over the dentist chair. Behind her was an IV stand, a large bag for regular IV, and a smaller bag for what I assumed was antibiotics. I approached the chair with fear. As soon as I was front-facing Maria, I gagged. She was semi-conscious, but also in a state I couldn't imagine one would be in after excruciating pain. Had he given her pain meds? Had she suffered his mutilations completely sober? And then I saw what he had done. Maria's entire right leg was gone, and thick bandages and layers of gauze were wrapped around her new stump. Dark maroon leaked from the tightly wrapped dressings. I covered my mouth in hopes of muffling my scream. What was happening? My head was spinning with thoughts, and I couldn't bear to process. This poor lady had lost both hands and now her leg. For what? What could she have done to deserve this? I thought of him keeping her in antibiotics just so he could keep her alive, to continue to play with her. It hit me like a sucker punch to the gut. I bent over and started sobbing. I was in shock. I was sick, and I was angry. This was my dad, the man who taught me how to play soccer, the man who attended all my stupid choir concerts and brought me daisies even though everyone knew I couldn't sing, the man who had listened to old records with me and went bird watching while we drank coffee on Sunday mornings. I didn't know this man. I didn't know anything. Maria stirred. She wasn't aware that I was there. She was just fighting to survive. I had to get her out. I had to get help for her. I wasn't going to let her die here in this cold white room. I was going to save her, even if that meant that Dad would go to prison. He needs to pay for his crimes. I started to run towards the metal door that led back to the spiral staircase. On one of the shelves, I noticed a big green book. It wasn't there before. It was the size of a dictionary. I would have noticed it before. In a room full of medical instruments, I would have noticed this green book. It was new. I grabbed the book and I lowered it to my level. I placed it on the table under the shelf. The outside of the book said records in all gold letters, and I opened it. The front page was full of names. Beside each name was a price, a date, and an order. There were pages and pages full. Orders for organs, bones, and living people. Some people had numbers beside their names in parentheses. My guess that those were repeat customers, clients, or whatever these guys were. I recognized Mom's handwriting immediately. Her elegant cursive was that I've always envied. Her beautiful crisp lines. I was lost in thought for a moment, but then snapped back. I had hoped Mom wasn't involved with this. Maybe she didn't know. Maybe, but she was in on this completely. This wasn't their first ledger either. I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that there were a market for these. People actually bought people. I looked back at Maria, who was now completely unconscious. I couldn't let this happen to her, at least not any more than it already had. I wouldn't let my parents hack her up until she was just a torso and sell her like she was livestock. I put the book back where I found it, and I started out the metal doors and into the black spiral staircase. I ran up the stairs as fast as I could. I got to the top of the metal doors and I gasped. "Hello, sweetie," said my dad. I looked at my mom with fear in my eyes. She had nodded and smiled. "It's time that we teach you about the family business, my dear." That's the end of part 3, and my camera's about to die, so I go and charge it and do the next 2 parts together, hopefully.